Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. We are surrounded by books. That means we have three options. Today, it is another author's diary video. I feel like it's been a little minute since the second one, so we're gonna pick back up and do a third one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I am a published author. Here's my book, Upside Down. I did a first video. It's like a brief overview, kind of talking about the process, how it came to be. The second video, I focused strictly on just the writing process, how the idea came to be, what it looked like writing, and kind of what I used to write. Now we are going to talk about the cover. I, of course, did not design this cover myself, nor did I do anything on the back. But I did give some insight into how the cover came to be. So that is going to be our focus today. It probably won't be like a super long video in comparison to the others, but I feel like it's a good thing to talk about when you're in the process of writing a book, like what you think the cover is going to be. So just to how the cover came to be, when I reached out to the publishing company and everything, I did not have to have a cover automatically. But then once they reached back out to me saying that they were interested, you have the option of either submitting a cover that you already have that you would like the book to have when it's published, or an idea of what you would like your cover to be like. So that is what I did. I started playing around on Canva. My skills weren't exactly up to par, and it's like I had the idea in my head of what I wanted. It was just trying to translate it and bring it to life. That there was a little bit of a disconnect. So I played around on Canva a bit with different colors, different designs, looking at different fonts, seeing what I would like. And I submitted one of the options, because I had a few different ones, one of the options, and told them this is kind of what I'm aiming for. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but this is the idea I would like the cover to convey. So I am going to pull up some of the designs on Canva, because I still have them, just to show y'all a little bit of what was going on in my mind, and then where it started and how we ended up here. Pause for a moment because Canva is being a little slow. Being difficult for me. I will say though, I've come a long way. I'm more advanced in Canva than I was this time around, because I've mentioned this, but I'm working on book 2 in the series. It is coming along great. It's so good. It's way more pages than the first book. It's kind of intense, a lot of secrets and drama. I'm loving it, but I'm also working on the cover myself this time around. And I'm using Canva, but I feel like I know what I'm doing this time around in comparison to what I did last time. Okay, here we go. Okay, we have it pulled up. I have 4 different designs of what I was aiming for. So the first one is a bit rough. It plays a little bit on the original cover that I made for Wattpad. You can learn more about that in the second video of the author's diary. But here is what it started out as. This, as you can see, I wanted the worlds to be separated, Earth's surface at the bottom, Rose City at the top, and I wanted Upside Down to be in 2 different fonts, upside to signify those above the clouds, and then down to signify those below the clouds. So this is kind of what I started. I was like, I like this, but at the same time, I wasn't a complete fan. So we went back to the drawing board, and same bottom, but I changed the top. I wasn't sure how I was going to get the nicer buildings and stuff to be sitting above the clouds, so I did it in reverse, so they're hanging, just to see what that would look like. And I wanted some of the colors to be like gold, rose, yellow, that type vibe, but again, it low-key clashes with the bottom. And we kept this, but we went back to the drawing board again. This one was a bit all over the place. I was trying to see about sitting the buildings above the clouds, what that would look like. And then I changed the pinks and put like gray so it can match more with here. But obviously my idea when talking about Rose City, you know, you're thinking of whimsical, elegant, upscale, dystopian fantasy. So of course, like golds, nice yellows, warm tones, pinks, that sort of vibe. But I didn't want too many colors and then it looks like it's all over the place. So that's kind of how we settled here, where it's mostly just yellows, grays, some a little bit of blue. And I don't know if you can really tell, but there's some makeshift graphic clouds here. They weren't my favorite. But again, this was a rough draft. And then the last one, we went back to focusing a little bit more on the golds and yellows, less gray in the Rose City buildings, and kept the bottom as is. Because if we're being honest, to me, the bottom was conveying what I wanted Earth's surface to convey. You know, the dark, dingy, there's smoke, and then the idea was they couldn't really see the sky. It's just kind of grayish, it's covered in smoke. Yeah, so we're trying to have that, and then it switches to the nicer clouds of those who live in Rose City because they're living above the clouds. So what they see is beautiful clouds, they see the sky and so forth. So I think for me, it was easier to get the bottom of Earth's surface, get that set. But when it came to transition into into Rose City, it was hitting a pause for me. And that's why in every single one, Earth's surface stays the same, but Rose City was the one that I couldn't quite crack. I think I ended up sending either this one or this one, the first one, as my idea of this is what I would like it to kind of portray. It doesn't have to look exactly like that, but this is the idea I'm going for. And I did specify that I wanted upside to be in like a fancy, pretty cursive type font, and then down to be maybe like a breaking down, a futuristic type font. So I did say that as well. I didn't really specify what my name would be in. I wasn't focused on that. I just knew upside and down needed to be where I went. And I also did say I wasn't in love with down being upside down. I was okay if that was changed, but like I wanted the fonts to be different. And so it translated here. So as you can see, upside ended up being that yellow gold color. Whoa, that yellow gold color. So, you know, kind of still showcasing the difference in colors of Rose City and Earth's surface. And then down, I did get it, upside down, and it has kind of, I don't know what type of font this is, but it is a futuristic type font to where it looks like it's breaking apart. So we had those together, so I was very happy about that. And as you can see, it sits directly in the middle. That's also what I was trying to convey in all of my kind of mock-up designs. And I would like to say the bottom is like pretty similar to what I had in Canva. Let me see if you can kind of put them side by side. It's like very similar to what, it's just a little bit brighter, but it's still conveying that this is a little bit more dingier, whereas this is not. And they did, in fact, when it came to the cover design, they sent, or they just gave a designer on their team over at Dorrance my mock-up and some of the comments I had about what I would like the cover to look like, what I really want on the cover, and what I'm not so much like it doesn't have to be on the cover. And I wasn't in contact with the designer. I was in contact, like I had a head person, and then they would send stuff to the designer, and when the designer had stuff to give to me, they would send it to me. So it's like I was speaking to a middleman, but I think it made things a little bit easier. At least the flow of getting stuff done. That way that person, who was kind of like my main point of contact, knew what was going on, and everyone was just kept in the loop. So they did send to me like the first draft of it, and just asked, I had a couple of days, and they were like, please just give feedback, what you like, what you don't like, maybe what you would like to change, and so forth. And then they would give that to the designer and then make those changes and send it back to me. Ultimately, this is what was decided upon. I'm not sure, you know, how many designers Dorrance has or whatever the case may be, but it did bring things to life. As you can see, it doesn't really go into the clouds per se, like I was trying to do, like the smoke and clouds, but it's kind of like the fade effect that they have going on. So to showcase my two worlds. But yeah, it was really cool when I finally saw what the cover was going to be, but then seeing it in person was even more surreal. It was kind of crazy to think that although I didn't design this, my mock-up in Canva kind of inspired this, like it led to this. And then when it came to the back, obviously the font stayed the same. They wrote the blurb here, obviously based on the book. So once we finished editing and stuff, they came up with a little blurb when we were working on the cover and then the back of the book, and I did get like a sign off on that if I wanted to make any changes. And they asked me about doing and about the author section, so I did write this, and I did submit my own picture. This is a professional headshot I had, I think, senior year of undergrad, which would line up because I wrote this senior year. So I submitted my own picture, and I did write this blurb. I'm pretty sure when I was doing this blurb, I was writing that like with my mom, because I was like, what do I say? So yeah, if you get this book, you'll see it talks about that I graduated from Bennett, and then that I was currently getting my master's at Elon. So, you know, at this point I do have the master's, but yeah, I wrote that and just kind of talked about a little bit about what I like to do, and then, you know, the degrees that I have, but just a little something. And I think they made some changes to it, but they kept like the basis of what I had. It was just kind of like their writing style is what they put. So what I sent, they just made it in their writing style. And once this was complete, they also sent me a mock-up of what this would look like as well, just to see if I was okay with everything. And of course I was. We didn't do the different colors on the back just because we thought like the yellow would kind of clash with this blue. And as you can see, this has a fade effect in the blue. It's a light blue and then it goes to the dark blue, kind of to signify this as well. Obviously we weren't going like dark gray and black in the back, but to notice the little details. So while I didn't have designs on this, I did help with this writing and of course the picture of myself. But yeah, that is how this came to be. We started it on Canva, crazy enough, and then yeah, that was the process. And I did the Canva designs before I submitted anything to them, because I knew like I had an idea of what I wanted the cover to be like, so I didn't want to submit anything until I was kind of set in stone on what I would like the designer to kind of go off of. So I don't think it took me long in Canva, maybe like a day or two. I played around just to see what I liked, what I didn't like. And then I also believe in making options for yourself and then picking, you know, the best one, because obviously sometimes that first one is not always your best one. So just try to do variations of it and then pick from those variations. So that's what I did. I picked the one that I kind of thought would be the easiest to use as a guide. I'm trying to find the right words. Guide to get to a final design. And that's what happened. So I think that process though was one of the easier processes to go through, because I put this right early, like I think before the book was even, before we started the editing process, we were doing this like at the same time. So yeah, the cover process was pretty smooth, pretty easy. Again, I had like a main point of contact that I would reach out to, and they knocked it out pretty fast. I don't remember us doing too much like back and forth when it came to changes. I think also I was just very excited about the entire process of my book actually becoming a published piece. So I was just happy. I was excited about everything that they had going on. So yeah, that was how it came to be. I am, again, so much better at Canva than I was, honing my skills, looking at different things. I've also worked a little bit in Adobe as well to try to do some cover designs. So yeah, we're playing around with that. It's going well. My first process was really good, and now I'm just trying to be a little designer myself. So yeah. What will we talk about next time? I don't know, but that's the end of this video for Author's Diary number 3. I will see y'all the next time. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more, please hit the subscribe button down below. Peace and blessings, my loves.